Please join me in welcoming such a delightful person to our campus, Dr. Michele Wheatly.
I looked at the prospectus for the position and read the commentary in the newspapers and in the media. I was struck by one statement. First slide, please. An abundance of statements about the need for transformational leadership. Now, I gotta confess up front, I'm not a management professor, you know that. My area of expertise is in biomedical research. I'm a STEM scientist, and so I'm not going to proclaim to study leadership as an academic discipline, even though I've recently co-edited a book on higher ed leadership with the other provosts of the Big 12 conference. And I've got some pet projects in leadership, and I hope we can talk about those later. So I went out in search of some definitions of transformational leadership, and one that I liked is in my second slide. This came from Malcolm Gladwell. You all know who he is. He's a best-selling writer and analyst, and he commentates on a lot of things that are going on in our society right now. You'll remember Outliers and Blink and so on. So he talks about the attribute set that transformational leaders seem to possess. And he lists three things. Number one is courage. You've got to be open to explore new things. You've got to be very well connected. You've got to be very conscientious with follow-through. You've got to be independent, willing to stand out in a crowd and do things against the flow. And you've got to be a catalyst. You've got to connect people and be able to deliver on the goods. The second thing is you need an ability to reframe the problem. It's you can't get anywhere. If you keep looking at the problem the same way, you've got to use a different lens. So you've got to have an analytical capability that is able to stand back from the problem and really interpret through a new lens. Make sense of the world. You've got to embrace the disruption. Stuff is happening around us in society, and we've got to be able to react to and embrace those changes. And then last, we've got to have a sense of urgency. You've got to remain relevant, because if the world starts changing around you at a greater pace than the pace at which you're traveling, you will get left behind. So rate of change becomes really important.